All right, what's up, guys? How we doing? Little preseason Q&A. Just wanted to talk to you guys. We, of course, are in the middle of all of the team previews. We recently most released the Chargers. A little spoiler, we have the Rams releasing tomorrow. We will have the Cardinals releasing Monday. And there's a couple of guests lined up for the Chiefs and Broncos, which I think you guys will enjoy. But I just wanted to go ahead and I wanted to just have a little Q&A. So I'm going to just go ahead and share this link with on Twitter. But wanted to, let's go ahead and share the link. There we go. And any comments, any questions, just go ahead and fire away. And ultimately, this will also be recorded to, or not recorded, but uploaded to the Football Analysis podcast as well. But for now, right now, I am just tweeting out the link for the Q&A. Here we go. All right. Who should sign Juju? Good question. There were two main teams that I thought that initially, whenever I saw that Juju was released, I thought the Lions, especially with how lack of depth they have in their receiving room after Amon-Ra, because Jamison Williams at this point is a big question mark. I know Lions fans love Khalif Raymond and Jamison, and they obviously whenever they're on your team, you're going to project the best for them, but I don't think bringing in Juju would be bad. And if there's going to be a coach that's going to get the most out of Juju, Dan Campbell would certainly be up there. The division rival Vikings also came to mind because they are pretty thin at the position after Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Brandon Powell is currently their wide receiver 3. They also have Trent Sherfield. Those were the two teams. Finances are going to be tough because the Chargers, to me, also make a lot of sense. Their receiving room, not the best, and any able body to catch passes would be good for the Chargers at this point. All right. Brendan says, sweet Football Analysis live stream on my birthday. My favorite present so far. Happy birthday, Brendan. Hope you're having a good one. Let's see here. I'm going to disregard those comments. Let's see what else we have here. Or from a certain user. You guys can probably read the comment section here. All right. Do I think, Volcano. I know Volcano. He's an avid live stream attendee, so appreciate everyone joining. And by the way, if you are enjoying, please drop a like. Would very much help the stream and also be very much appreciated. Volcano says, do I think the Titans take a quarterback in 2025? Honestly, anybody that answers that question right now has absolutely zero idea, because it obviously depends on Will Levis. Personally, I am a believer in Will Levis. Now, I don't think that Will Levis is going to 37 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, absolutely light the league on fire. I don't think it's going to be that, but I think Levis is going to be serviceable. And the biggest thing for Levis is, and we covered this during the Titans team preview, but he didn't stand a chance last year. Like, he did not stand a chance. And outside of that Falcons game and outside of that Steelers game, there was one Jags game, one Texans game, I want to say down the stretch, where it was very much like getting sent to the wolves. Like, good luck, buddy, and this is just good luck. And it wasn't a good situation for Will Levis, a rookie second-round quarterback, and it wouldn't have been a good situation for anybody. So at this point, I would say the Titans do not take a quarterback in the first round of 2025. That's where I would stand on that. And I would also be under the belief that Brian Callahan wouldn't have taken the head coaching job without believing Will Levis is the guy. I don't think he would have taken the head coaching job with the intention of a year from now, I'm going to ship Will Levis off and finally draft my quarterback of my own. And the 2025 class at the quarterback position, as of right now, is not very good. All right, let's see here. Let's see some other questions here. Bronco, my guy, he says, first off, watching your stream on my TV. Second, which NFL preseason will be fool's gold? I don't know. I appreciate you watching, but that's which NFL team will be fool's gold. It has to be like a team that you wouldn't expect. So and I'm not gonna single any team out. I'm not gonna like directly. I'll say like 4 or 5 teams. If I could. The thing is Kyler Murray's not playing, so I would say the Cardinals. The thing is, I like the Cardinals a lot. I think you could have somebody buy into like a young quarterback. And the thing is there's so many young quarterbacks around the league right now that you could really pick between like 7 or 8 teams that, we're going to latch onto the preseason and boom, that's going to be our team. So I think there's a lot of teams with first or second year quarterbacks that would very much apply to. All right. Bears fan here. First on your live. Love the content. Appreciate it. I'm a big fantasy guy looking at value. Would it be crazy to say we should have taken Rattler in the 5th to combine with Caleb? Just being honest, I am probably not the right person to ask that because, little personal details. I went to Shepherd alum. Shout out Tyson Bagent. I like Tyson a lot and I want him to do well. Now, do I think Tyson is going to have, do I think Tyson's ever going to be a long-term 4, 5, 6-year starter? No. But I think Tyson is a fine backup. And even for him to have the opportunity that he had last year and to come in, throw 3 touchdowns, win a couple games as a backup, 2-2 record. I know he threw 6 picks. I know the Saints game in particular for Tyson and the Bears was bad. They committed 5 turnovers. I think Tyson Bagent's a fine backup quarterback. I really do. And that's taking the Shepherd part out. I like Tyson, and I think he's going to have a long career as a backup. Let's go ahead. Do we have more birthdays in here? I know Braden had a birthday. Do we have more birthdays? What's up, Rand? How we doing? If I had to put a percentage on the Chiefs getting a three-peat, what would I say? Probably 69%. No, in all honesty, we haven't done the Chiefs team preview yet. We have a special guest for the Chiefs team preview lined up. So I don't know if you guys know how about those Chiefs. He's a big Chiefs YouTuber. He's cool. Cole is a great guy. Love talking ball with him. He will be on the channel for the Chiefs team preview, but he had me on his channel a couple weeks ago. And the thing is whenever you have a team that has went back to back like the Chiefs have, very rarely do they also improve while still being in the window, while still having a Hall of Fame quarterback, head coach, and tight end, and probably defensive tackle and Chris Jones for that matter too. And they improved from last year to this year. So the chance that they three-peat is probably higher than a lot of people would like to admit. Super chat, appreciate it. Always appreciate the super chats. H. Brazi says, Caleb will be great. Drake/Daniels garbage. Knicks will do well with Peyton. Levis will be damn good. AR will be benched very quickly. And Mahomes better than Brady. So let's go ahead and break this down here. All right, Caleb will be great. I would agree with that. And the whole Caleb's not going to be good because he cried with his family and he painted his nails and all that. That has absolutely nothing to do with what are you telling me that because Caleb paints his nails that he can't distinguish a too high shell that's going to rotate into a cover 3 or that he can't determine a cover 6, that the quarter half is he can't determine that as soon as the ball is snapped. He can't determine cover 1 robber. Is that what you're telling me based off of that? So that never really made a lot of sense to me. Caleb is going to be a great quarterback, and I think he, like the way he answers questions in interviews, I think he is a very, very mature rookie quarterback, and Caleb is going to silence a lot of people this year. I like Caleb a lot, and to be honest, as a Vikings fan, you guys obviously know I'm a Vikings fan. I've never hid that. He scares me. Like, he legitimately terrifies me for the next several years. Now, Drake and Daniels, garbage. I would disagree with that. Drake May, not in the best situation right now. And the Patriots schedule, we've went over this before. I want to specifically pull up the Patriots' first few games because they're tough. Like, the Patriots' first few games, I do not want Drake May to play this year, or for the first few games. Because the Patriots' first, I want to say it's the first 4. The Patriots' first 4 games are at Cincy versus Seattle, at the Jets on Thursday night, and at San Francisco. I am begging Gerard Mayo and the Patriots to not play him for at least the first 4 games. Now, ultimately, I think he'll be fine. Jaden Daniels worries me. Not because that I don't think he can succeed at the NFL level, but I worry about his weight behind a not good offensive line. And outside of really Sam Cosmi, I worry about Jaden Daniels. Now, I think Terry McLaurin's obviously a good player. Jahan Dotson is a solid player. We'll see how he does this year. I hope Jahan takes another step, but Jaden Daniels worries me a little bit. Bo Nix will be fine with Sean Payton. I think he'll be fine. Levis, I think, will be good. AR being benched very quickly is a take I personally disagree with, just because First off, I'm a big Anthony Richardson believer. But when you factor in the run game, the receiving core, the offensive line, and the coaching staff, unless AR is a flat-out bust, he's not going to be benched. I mean, that supporting cast is so good. So I disagree with that one. All right, crazy question. Do I like football? That is from Damien. No, I love football. Love football. All right, let's see here. All right, okay, I'm a low-key Fields defender. Was never a Caleb, but never was a Caleb hater for all those reasons. Before we got Keenan for a fourth, I was thinking we trade Caleb for Marvin and 3 firsts. I don't think anybody would have traded Marvin and 3 firsts because I think Marvin is that good of a prospect, and I don't think that would have happened. I think there's too many, like, depending on like this and all that has to happen. So I don't think that would have happened. That's just a little like too rich for me to, and especially like another like hypothetical that almost happened, or that people were talking about happening, was at one point the Vikings were going to trade to Drake, or trade up to 3 to draft Drake May. The Cardinals were going to like drop back 1 pick to go to 5 so the Chargers could take Marvin Harrison, and then the Patriots were going to jump back up to 5 so they could take JJ McCarthy. That was another one where I was like, there is way too many steps that I don't believe that. All right, let's see. Appreciate the thoughts. Of course. It was a fun hypothetical. Of course. It's was it me or Jacoby? Did Jacoby look bad last night? He played 1 series, and I don't think the Patriots receivers are very good. So I don't think you can judge off the TV angles of Jacoby looking good or bad off of that 1 series. I wanted to see more Drake May last night, to be completely honest. And I was a little frustrated that they only played him 1 series. I mean, I get it. Obviously, I get it. But I was just a little frustrated that Drake May only played 1 series. I don't think you can really judge that Jacoby was definitively bad off that 1 series, though, especially with just how poor of a supporting cast that they have, and that's going to be something that will probably continue to rear its ugly head during the preseason. And I don't know if I would have released Juju Smith-Schuster. I understand why they did, but I don't know. That was one for me where I was like, is it really worth eating the $7 million to cut Juju? I mean, you're going to pay him. Why not just keep him on the roster? But maybe I'm in the wrong on that one. Maybe I'm in the minority on that one. Joe Milton looked good last night. Thoughts on him? Yeah, so Joe Milton right now has more touchdowns than Caleb Williams and Drake May. So he should have been the number 1 pick, and they should have drafted Marvin instead of Drake May. And gave him a true number 1. No, it was the touchdown Joe Milton had was, he had like not 15, but he actually had like a legit like 4.5 seconds to find somebody. The throw wasn't accurate, and then it was like a 20-yard catch and run after. It was against players that probably are not going to be household names in the NFL. I wish the best for Joe Milton. I wouldn't make too much out of that last night, to be honest. All right, let's see here. All right, will I be putting picks over on the Degeneracy channel? Good question, SH. I'm going to be more so doing that on Instagram. I am on Instagram, football analysis. Let's see here. If they lost $7 million off Juju, that was dumb. Yeah, I mean, are any, like, is KJ Osborne, Jalen, I mean, I know Jalen Polk and Javon Baker obviously are making the team. But, like, is KJ Osborne, Keyshawn Butte, Pop Douglas is better than Juju at this point. But are KJ and Butte and who's the other one? Kendrick Bourne. I guess Kendrick Bourne probably is too. But are like KJ and Kayvon and whoever the next Tyquan Thornton, are they definitively better than Juju at this point to eat $7 million? I don't know. I wouldn't think so. All right. Let's see here. Which quarterback do I think should start for the Steelers? Personally, I think Russ. The thing is Justin Fields is, like, I want him to do well. I loved Justin coming out of Ohio State, but there's things in his game where, you know, we're not in year 1 anymore. We're not in the beginning parts of year 2. We're in year 4. And they still showed up time and time again last year for Justin throughout the year, which was, it was frustrating. Let's just call it what it is. It was frustrating to watch Justin sit here for 3.5 seconds with decent pass protection and not get off the first read and then get benched and then be like, why'd I get benched? Justin's, like, the speed at which he goes through his reads has always been a problem. Whether it was in 2021, whether it was in 2023, it's always been a problem. I think Russ, to me, would be the preferred option for the Steelers. Can George Pickens carry the Steelers offense? Not the entire offense, but the receiving game, yes. He's going to have to. And to be honest, I think George will probably go for, probably say 13, if the quarterback play is decent. I think George can reasonably go for like 12 or 13, maybe 1,400 yards if the quarterback play is decent for the majority of the year. Because those Mitch games last year when Mitch was playing against I want to say it was the Cardinals, Patriots, and Colts, or two of those games. I know the Colts game for sure. That was bad. I mean, that was bad, man. All right, let's see here. Who is my dark horse team for this season here? Ooh. NFC. Let me think for a second. NFC. The thing is, everybody knows about the Packers, Lions, of course. I want to say like the Seahawks. The Seahawks is who I want to say. I'm not going to say the Vikings. I'm not going to say that. Right now, if I had to predict 3 wildcard teams, I think they would be the Packers, Rams, and Cowboys, with the Lions winning the North, the Eagles winning the East, and then, of course, the 49ers winning the West. Out of a team that would not make the playoffs, I think Chicago or Seattle, but Chicago's not really a dark horse because everyone knows and everyone is projecting the best for them, rightfully so, by the way. All right, if you are enjoying, by the way, please drop a like. Helps tremendously with the almighty YouTube algorithm. Let's go ahead and keep it going here. As a Lions fan, I'm scared of our depth in receiver, quarterback, and the D-line. I felt like one injury, we're going to have a major setback. So the thing is the quarterback depth, like let's just call it what it is. Like, if you have a quarterback go down, as bleak as this sounds, you're done. I mean, you're not gonna Nick Foles in 2017 is not like, that's not the normal. That should not be expected. So I mean, Joe Burrow went down last year. They were done. And I know Jake Browning had a cup of tea and was okay, but that should not be like the expectation. So I wouldn't really worry about quarterback depth. The receiver depth is completely understandable though, as a fan of the Lions. All right, let's see here. All right, do I think the Cardinals are being slept on? To a degree, yes. The Cardinals video is being released Monday. I am titling the video, "The Arizona Cardinals Are Going to Be a Problem." And within that, and I'm going to explain within the first minute of the video, minute and a half of the video, however long it takes, that they're not going to be an 11 or 12 win team, but they're going to be a nuisance to play. Like, you're not going to, they're not the same old Cardinals. And it's going to be a fun year to watch the Cardinals, to be completely honest. I am a Cardinals big time supporter this year. I can't wait to see what they do. And I know what Jonathan Gannon's and Monty Ozenfort's long-term vision is. They want to continuously pound the rock. And there was a reason they selected Tip Ryman, who is a blocking tight end. There was a reason they selected him in the top 100 of the draft. When you can have James Conner and Trey Benson downhill, ground and pound, that's going to be the goal. They're going to want to play a lot of 12 personnel, 2 receiver sets between MHJ and Michael Wilson. I can't wait to watch the Cardinals this year, to be completely honest. How do I feel Joe Alt will do this year? Joe Alt is going to be fine. Like this whole that we don't know how Joe Alt's going to go or going to be in the NFL, to me was always kind of funny, because it was like, this is a guy that was a tight end 2 years ago, transformed into an all-American tackle, and now he's a top 5 pick. Joe Alt will be fine. To me, he was the best tackle prospect since Penei Sewell, and he's a damn good football player. And I think the Chargers more than have their tackle situation figured out for at least the next 5, 6, 7 years. The thing is, the Chargers right now, I don't think they're going to be all that good this year, like record-wise. I think they might be 7-10, 8-9, maybe 9-8, maybe 9-8, because the talent on the roster is not all that good at some positions. and they have clear deficiencies compared to other AFC teams, but I trust Joe Ortiz, and I definitely trust Jim Harbaugh, and I think the long-term vision for this team is outstanding. And the same thing also applies to the Raiders, by the way. I know I received some pushback on the Raiders video. People were like, "Oh, you know, you don't know the Raiders, and we're gonna surprise everybody." And my whole thing was, I like the Raiders. I like the long-term vision. I don't like the quarterback position this year. And I trust Antonio Pierce. Believe it or not, I trust Tom Telesco to bring in talent, which he did a solid job with the Chargers for a long time. But I don't trust Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell to go into a Kansas City or Cincinnati or Baltimore or Buffalo in the playoffs and win. And that was kind of my whole point with the Raiders. I don't trust that. H. Brizzy, another super chat. Genuinely appreciate it. Oh my goodness. He says, here's $10 to talk about how terrible Justin Fields is a playing quarterback. Also, Mahomes is already the GOAT. Brady isn't even top 15 on pure talent ranking. I don't care about rings, only talent. Okay. Justin Fields, like, again, I want him to do well. The thing is always like, there were so many times on film, the Bucs game in particular, it was bad last year. And granted, Tampa had a really good defense, but there were plays, there were passes Justin was forcing. He didn't need to. And yeah, you said it. Justin, I mean, I honestly don't know what his raw numbers were, but I know at times it was just like, Justin, buddy, like, we're in year 3. What are we doing here? I'm actually just pulling up his raw numbers now. Justin, 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 86.3 passer rating. To be honest, I'm surprised it was that high. He completed 61% of his passes. That's about what I would expect. There's still some accuracy problems, still some footwork problems at this point in Justin Fields' career. Now, Mahomes already being the GOAT. I've said this. Now, from a legacy standpoint, I'm going to disagree on the rings part, because unfortunately quarterbacks are judged on rings. That's and if you have 7-3, and then if you have the 2 postseason wins over Patrick Mahomes, especially one being in his place in the 2018 AFC Championship game, I mean, like, Brady's legacy as of now is more than Mahomes. And Mahomes, if he gets a 4th ring, or if he gets eventually a 5th ring, it'll be a conversation. But one thing that I think is always going to hold Pat back in that conversation is the 0-2 against Tom. Now, in terms of, like, pure talent, like, Mahomes, yes, like, to me, he is the best I've ever seen play the quarterback position. And I would say all of us that he's the best that we've ever seen. I mean, the plays that he makes in situations is unbelievable. And I really, really enjoy watching him play. Packers dark horse Super Bowl. See, the thing is I wouldn't say dark horse, because they went to the divisional round last year, and they were within a minute of going to the NFC Championship game. So I don't know really how dark horse that can be. I don't think that's a dark horse personally. But if they win, it wouldn't surprise me. I personally have their ceiling. I think I had it at the NFC Championship game during their team preview. But I don't think that's dark horse personally. Now, if you want to say like the Rams, I think the Rams would be more of a dark horse than Green Bay. But for a team that had a first-year starting quarterback and developed as much as they did down the stretch, that's not a dark horse for me. It may be for somebody else, but not for me. Let's see here. Do I think Eli Manning is first ballot? Good question. I would say yes, personally. The thing is the Hall of Fame in the NFL is really weird. And I'll say this, and I mean this in the most polite, respectful way possible. If Devin Hester is getting in the Hall of Fame for being the GOAT return man, which you can make a case that he should, right? And I'm not saying he shouldn't, by the way. But if he's getting in, then I feel like by default you have to put in a guy that's 2-0 in Super Bowls over Tom Brady. You know, Eli didn't beat. He didn't. I'm trying to think of just like an obscure AFC quarterback. He didn't beat Derek Anderson in the Super Bowl when he played for the Browns. He didn't beat. Let me think of just somebody else from like that era. He didn't beat Kyle Bowler when he played for the Ravens. I mean, he beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Also, Eli's cumulative stats are really like they're up there. Now, granted, that also goes by playing 16 years in a passing era, but I think Eli will be first ballot, yes. And also, just being honest, it also helps with the name and the family and all of that. That helps Eli's case. There's no denying that helps. But I think Eli should be first ballot. Who will have the most sacks? Dallas Turner, Jonathan Grenard, or Andrew Van Ginkel? That's one group I'm really looking forward to seeing the Vikings play this year is the pass rush and how Flores just unleashes the blitz packages, how he'll send 5 from one side, 1 from the other, and how he'll just have the offensive line just in shambles. I can't wait to see how he does that. Between those three, I would probably say Grenard. I think Grenard is going to be phenomenal in this defense. Dallas Turner, I'm not going to lie. As a fan, it's still kind of crazy to me that we have that we still drafted Dallas Turner, because obviously everybody knew the quarterback was going to happen. That happened whenever Kirk signed with the Falcons, everybody knew we were going to draft a quarterback. But there's still parts of me where I'm like, dude, we have the reigning SEC Defensive Player of the Year and a guy that Will Anderson just raved about how good of a player he was. And that was, if my word's not good enough about Dallas Turner, take Will Anderson's word. So I can't wait to watch Dallas Turner play, man. And the pass rush for the Vikings is going to be phenomenal this year. I'm also looking a little ahead into the 2025 draft. If the Vikings finish with a top 5-7 pick, if they can get Mason Graham or Will Johnson next year, I'd be ecstatic. I would be so ecstatic. All right, let's see here. Josh Allen is by far the second best quarterback in the league. I think he is the second best quarterback in the league, personally. I don't know how hot of a take that is, but I think he is. Are the Texans overrated? It depends. I, right now, think they're fine, but 3 months ago in May, when it was we got Diggs, Tank Dell's coming back, just cancel everything, AFC Championship game, Stroud, Mahomes, let's fast forward to that. Yes, that's overrated. But now that we have hype from the Jets, the Ravens, the Bengals, more teams than just the Chiefs and Texans, I think they're properly rated at the moment. Now, they can get overrated very quickly, but right now I think they're fine. All right, let's see here. All right, the Packers defense has been doing amazing in camp. Do you think that's because of a revamped defense or a regressing offense? I would definitely say the first one, especially once Joe Barry was out. There's a reason that Packers fans have been upset with Joe Barry for the past 3 years. Not just the past not just the final 4 games of the 23 season, but the past 2.5 seasons. So I think it's definitely the first one. And the duo of Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness scares me as a Vikings fan. And to be honest, the NFC North, if Caleb and JJ pan out, the NFC North is going to be one of the best divisions in football for a long time. Because despite Jared Goff entering year 9 or year 9, I think now, because he was drafted in 16. So yeah, year 9. He's still 29. I think he will turn 30 this year. So Jared Goff could still play 7 years, 8 years. Caleb's obviously a rookie. JJ's obviously a rookie. Jordan Love is only 27. He could obviously play another 10, 12, 13 years. So the NFC North, it's going to be a bloodbath if Caleb and JJ both pan out. All right, let's see here. Is it a hot take to say Goff could win MVP with all of his weapons and only playing 3 games outside? I personally don't think it is. Now, would I personally wager on Jared Goff at winning MVP? No. But you could very easily convince me that, yes, Jared Goff could win MVP. He has thrown over the last 2 years 59 touchdowns to 19 interceptions. So you could easily convince me of that. Now, will he? Just being honest, probably not. But I'm going to take if you ask me any single player, even Mahomes, I'll take the field every time. I'm just going to take the field every time, because that's obviously 31 other quarterbacks, plus if there's a Christian McCaffrey type year last year, I'm just going to take the field, but I don't think it's a bad take. I think you can reasonably justify it. All right. What are my thoughts on training camp fights? I'm not a big fan. Whenever you have and this is just for reference, right? Like the Malik Neighbors one with Kirby Joseph and all that. What if you have Malik Neighbors just, and what if you have him just go up, just crush this, like, and what if he goes close fist to the side of the helmet and he breaks his hand and he's out till October? For what they are, I think training camp fights are just pointless. Like, I mean, they're all in the NFL. You're not hearing about fights between this undrafted free agent from Sam Houston State and this undrafted free agent from Southwest Missouri Technical State of the Institution. Like, you're not hearing those. So you're hearing only big name fights. DK was in one the other day and he swung a helmet. Why? You know, what if that concusses a player and he's out for a month? To me, there's far too much like bad things that can happen, but that's just where I stand on that. All right. Let's see here. NFC North going to be running the whole league. Bloodbath indeed. How long is Caleb Williams' leash before we should have expectations with the division? He's on the rise. Let's see. How long before we should have expectations? Oh, to be honest, this year. Like Caleb, like it wouldn't, like the Bears potentially getting the wild card, getting a 7th seed this year wouldn't surprise me. And that's not just because I think Caleb's going to win the Rookie of the Year or throw for however many touchdowns. People forget that they're getting a full season of Montez Sweat. Jalen Johnson is one of the best corners in the league. Tremaine Edmonds is a very, very good inside linebacker. TJ Edwards is very good as well. Jaquan Brisker, another good player. They have so many good players on the defense, and that defense allowed 93 total points in the final 6 games of last year. Gervon Dexter will probably step up in the interior as well. So, for Caleb, as long as he doesn't lose the team games, as long as he doesn't throw 3-4 interceptions, they're probably going to win 8 games by default. Probably. 7 or 8 games, again, by default. And this is a team that, again, they won 7 games last year. People automatically just like they just seem to forget that because Justin Fields did not have a good year last year, that people think the Bears finished the year like 4-13 or 3-14 or whatever. They had 7 wins, and they brought in the best quarterback prospect since Trevor Lawrence, and ultimately the either best or second best, depending where you had Caleb. I personally had him behind Trevor, but the second best quarterback prospect in the past 11 years. They're a good team, man. And also they brought in Rome Odunze, like who's another great prospect. The Bears are really good. All right. Let's see here. All right, what's up? Oh, my boy Sammy, how we doing? Hey, Sammy, how we doing? Justin Fields will start. The whole NFL is sleeping on him and George Pickens too. To be honest, I don't think Justin Fields will start. I don't think JF1 is the guy. I think it's going to be Russ. And I like George Pickens a lot. George Pickens is a player that I've loved since he came out of Georgia. Feed George. I think he's a very, very good player. All right, let's see here. All right, so let's go ahead and scroll through some of the comments here. All right. What other takes do we have, guys? All right. Packers or Texans? I don't know what we are in terms of who's going further. I feel like honestly, I think they're going to both lose in the divisional round right now. That would be what I would say. But if I had to, the ultimate just, drastic scenario, gun to the head, I would probably say Green Bay, because just there's far too many scenarios where Houston would have to go to Kansas City, Houston would have to go to wherever, Baltimore or wherever. And that's probably what I would say. All right, let's see. Bengals over on what? Bengals over under 8 wins. I mean, we have to assume that Burrow stays healthy, so over in that scenario. That would be my trade. All right, Vikings are trading. Hold on here. This is from Ian Rappaport. Sorry, this is live. Vikings are trading corner Andrew Booth in exchange for corner Nashawn Wright. I mean, it's just kind of just like a corner for corner trade. Okay, but that was from Ian Rappaport. Sorry, that was live. That was, I at least wanted to at least go ahead and get that one out. All right, that's disappointing because I wanted Andrew Booth to be really good in the worst way. I thought Andrew Booth was a really, really solid prospect. but Andrew Booth is now a Cowboy, and Nashawn Wright is now a Viking. Both players certainly did not live up to the expectations of where they were drafted. Nashawn Wright was not a great prospect, although I like the addition for the Vikings. I'm going to be honest. I like that addition. All right. Do you draft do you draft a quarterback high for the Bengals if Joe Burrow was hurt again? No, they signed him like a $250 million. No, we're good on that one. All right. With the Ayuk situation, does the 49ers windows close without him? Giving the Purdy contract coming up, predicting $60+ million a year. I'm gonna be honest, man. I like Brock Purdy a lot, and what's unfortunate for Purdy is there's gonna be people that, no matter what, are going to have an agenda against Brock Purdy. If he doesn't throw a ball exactly where it should be, and the ball needs to be here, and he throws it here, see, that's why Brock Purdy wasn't good. He missed that throw. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes make that play. He doesn't. There's going to be people that hate watch Brock Purdy without even acknowledging anything that he does good. I think Brock is a very, very good player. And what also frustrates me is when people say, well, he's not top 7, he's not top 8, he's not top 10, because this generational talent clears him. This guy clears him. Brock is a very good player. Now, to answer the question of the Ayuk situation, I don't think the 49ers window closes because of Brandon Ayuk. I think inevitably when you go to the NFC Championship game 4 times in 5 years, and you go to the Super Bowl twice, and you don't win the Super Bowl while being as successful as the 49ers have, I think that is going to play a bigger part mentally than what people think. Because the thing is the 49ers were up last year in the Super Bowl at halftime, and they blew a second half lead. Again, to Patrick Mahomes. Again. And that was after, just to get to the Super Bowl, it took an insane, highly unlikely statistical improbability catch that Brandon Ayuk had late in that game, and it took the Lions committing multiple silly second half turnovers just for them to get to the Super Bowl. So if Brandon Ayuk is a 49er today, if he's a 49er next month, if he's a 49er 2 years from now, I don't think the 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl this year or next year or even the year after that. I think their window is it's kind of like, I think last year was the year, and I think we're off that now, because I think the Lions' time is now, and the Lions would be my pick to go to the Super Bowl this year. All right. Matthew says, what's up from Michigan? Love your channel. One of the best content channels out there. Thank you. Appreciate that. I mean, like I said, it wouldn't be possible without you guys, so I always genuinely appreciate the support, and comments like that make my day. All right, let's see here. Is Trevor Lawrence good? Yeah. Yes. Eagles will be back this year. That's another thing. They will be too. Steven says, someday I'd really like to see a video comparing footage of first-round busts versus late-round hits at key position groups. So would that be in terms of like play style, or like a linebacker reading his keys, or what? I'm curious what you mean by that. Would that be like, I'm trying to think, who would be like Kenny Pickett didn't make this play as a first-round quarterback, Brock Purdy made this play? Or would you mean like percentages? I'm fine with that either way. I like that idea. Big Lions fan, so many mistakes in that game, but the IU catch just felt inevitable. I mean, it's just like that you play that. If you play like the Lions 49ers NFC Championship game, if you simulate it 100 times, that IU catch probably happens once. And that's just the reality. And it sucks for Lions fans that that's how their season ended. All right, let's see here. Atlanta could be good this year. I agree 100%. Their schedule is also not that difficult, and I think Atlanta could actually get like anywhere from 11 to 13 wins. Just being honest, I don't think Atlanta's schedule is all that. Evil Mitch, genuinely appreciate the super chat. He says Raiders are crazy, slept on. Gardner, oh man. So Mitch, I don't know. I appreciate the super chat. I don't know if you watched the Raiders video I made a couple days ago. It was their 2024 team preview, and I think the Raiders are inevitably set up to fail because I love so many players on their team, and I think they have a genuinely good roster. But I worry with it. For me, it boils down to, do you trust Gardner or AOC? And he referenced Gardner in the comments, so I will specifically roll with Gardner here. Do you think Gardner is in the AFC wildcard round of the playoffs? Because ultimately, I don't think the Raiders are going to win the AFC West. And I don't think that the Raiders winning the AFC West, I don't think that should be a hot take. Do you think Gardner is going into Houston against the Texans and beating them in the wildcard round? I don't, personally. Do you think he's going into Buffalo and beating Josh Allen in the wildcard round? Again, I don't. Now, what I will say positively about the Raiders is I think they are going to be a tremendous thorn in a lot of team sides. And I'm telling you right now, it would not surprise me at all if they split with the Chiefs again. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if they swept the Raiders or swept the Chargers and swept the Broncos. Like, the Raiders are a solid football team. They are not going to be a team anybody easily defeats. And I think Antonio Pierce is the perfect head coach for the Raiders. I don't believe in Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew when it comes hell or high water. And to be honest, I'm also not the biggest Zamir White fan, just being honest. I don't think he's all that. That's another thing. But I love the Raiders' offensive line. I love Andre James. I love Jackson Powers-Johnson. And I really love the defensive line with Max and Christian Wilkins and Malcolm Kuntz and hopefully Tyree Wilson too. But that's I don't think the Raiders are going to do it this year. All right, let's see here. Justin Ziegler, appreciate it. Justin, another super chat. Appreciate it, Justin. Justin, hopefully you're having a great day. He says, at this point, what are your thoughts on the Cowboys after Jerry Jones' CeeDee Lamb comment? So I want to pull it up specifically here, all right? Because the CeeDee Lamb this is not good. I'll just start it off by saying not good. Last night, there was a direct quote. It was from John Machota. He covers the Dallas Cowboys for The Athletic. I might have mispronounced the last name. Whatever. He said, apologies, John, if I did. He says, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones on contract talks with CeeDee Lamb. Quote, I don't have any urgency to get it done. End quote. CeeDee Lamb quote tweeted it and said, LOL. I don't know how you look at that situation and think, man, this is good. This is we have him right where we want him. At this point, what are my thoughts on it? It's not good. And I'd be really curious because Jerry at times has shown that he's willing to part ways with players. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if Jerry just basically says, F it, let's cut our ties, we'll get a pick, and see ya, CD. Thanks, buddy. Good luck. Get your money elsewhere. Which, to be honest, I think would be... I mean, it's hard to say that it would be a death sentence because, sorry, Cowboys fans, but they haven't, been to the NFC Championship game since the 90s. But, I mean, for me, paying CeeDee Lamb is very much what it was a couple months ago when it came time to pay this guy. What is the price of gas? Are you going to, you have to fill up your tank, are you going to say, nah, man, I'm not paying that. I'm just not going to get gas. Pay him. Like, CD is such a good receiver. Whatever he asks, just pay it. The salary cap's going up by 15 or 20% every year. I would say pay him, but that's just me. Let's see here. Evil Mitch says Niners defense or Raiders defense. I would personally, this is tough. The thing is, I would say Niners defense, and I understand the what you're going to counter with the Raiders. I would personally say the Niners because I like the star at every level. The Nick Bosa, the Fred Warner, the Talanoa Hufanga, because what also has to be remembered with the Niners, even though I kind of think their championship window is closed, is they're getting Hufanga back, which is going to be huge. And I also like a lot of other players on the Niners defense, especially when Jerry Greenlaw comes back. But I will also say this. It's not like I think the Niners defense is the second best in the league and the Raiders is the 19th best in the league. I think it's very, very close. And I think the Raiders defense, Mitch, which again, I want to heavily emphasize with not just Max Crosby and Wilkins and Kuntz, but with Divine Diablo and Robert Spillane and Trayvon Merrick, of course, who I think is a very underrated player. I think they are going to surprise a lot of people. The big thing with the Raiders, of course, like I said, the quarterback position scares me. Justin Ziegler, again, appreciate the super chat. He says, should the Niners thoughts, given the Ayuk situation and Trent Williams... Wait, I'm curious. Hold on here. Should the Niners, given the Ayuk situation and Trent Williams holding out? The thing is with the Niners, like the whole situation scares, like their future scares me because George Kittle is going to be 31. Trent Williams is already 36. And I know in theory at any point that just based on the physicality of the NFL, that whether you are this is the unfortunate part of football. Whether you are 22, whether you are 37, still playing in year 17 at offensive line, unfortunately, you are one play away from retiring. That's everybody. I mean, everybody knows the risk when you put the pads on. But what worries me is it's going to be Trent Williams last year at some point. I mean, we're entering year 15 with Trent. He was drafted back in 2010. So with Trent, it's like, okay, we have this Hall of Fame tackle, but he's on a year-to-year basis at this standpoint. And we're not going to draft a tackle in the first round, at least not right now, because we have a lot of other players positions that we have to take care of, like Brandon Ayuk, for example, and there was a reason that they selected Ricky Pearsall this year. So the 49ers to me are in a very, very tough situation. And on top of it, like somebody mentioned earlier, they have Brock Purdy coming up to get paid, and he's going to, I would imagine, get at least $55 million a year. So the 49ers situation right now is very tough. All right. Catalyst says, I think the Vikings defense is primed to win them some games. Brian Flores is up to something. The Vikings secondary worries me, specifically at the corner position. Mekhi Blackman tore his ACL. I thought he had a promising rookie year. Kyrie Jackson, may he rest in peace and continue to rest in peace. That situation obviously sucks, and I hope his family is doing as well as they possibly can be right now. From a football standpoint, I think Kyrie was going to be a very, very good player. But when you have two corners go down for the year, when you have Mekhi Blackman go down for the year, and when you have one unfortunately lose their life in a situation that they had that should have never happened, you're put at an extreme disadvantage from a football standpoint entering the year. And again, football means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of Kyrie Jackson's family. That football means nothing. But that's the Vikings secondary is going to be tough this year. Am I going to be doing Your Take Not Mine videos this year? I love that series. Yes, at some point. And the thing is, there's going to be a point where somebody, like, whether, I don't know how long I'm going to do this, but like as a YouTuber, or if I get a job offer or whatever, right? There's going to be a point where somebody clips me titling a video, Josh Dobbs is the Vikings' future quarterback. And I made, that was the thumbnail and everything with QB of the future with Josh Dobbs on the thumbnail. And that was reacting to a hot take. That was a Your Take, Not Mine. So that'll be interesting. But yes, Your Take, Not Mine will absolutely be, that'll absolutely be this year too. And by the way, if you are interested in ever me reacting to any take you have on the Football Analysis Podcast, the link is in the description. We have hot takes all the time. So I react to takes all the time on the Football Analysis Podcast. Highly recommend checking it out. And Dead90 says, odds on Jalen Carter winning DPOY. I would say, I would say low. Just because it goes back to the, you can take the field for anything and you're going to, obviously win way, way, way more than you're not. But Jalen Carter last year showed flashes at times, and I think he's going to be a great player. But I know he had 50, I think it's 49 or 50 pressures. It was one of the two. But 8 of those pressures in one game were against the Patriots third string center and then a 7th round rookie at guard. And it would be equivalent to Jalen playing like a guard from like Eastern Michigan while he was at Georgia. Like, obviously he's going to dominate that guy. So I think Jalen's really good. I think he's going to have a really good year. But for a DPOY, for a defensive tackle, you're going to need an Aaron Donald type year. And I don't think he's going to have that in year 2. So I would say no. I would say very low odds. But to be honest with you guys, that is going to... Wait. Lizam says, I've been watching your CFB 25 videos. Did I go to ECU? I did not, but appreciate that. Another episode will be out tomorrow. Hopefully you enjoy. Couple big commits coming up in the next episode. I'll just leave it at that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's stream. That's going to wrap it up. Cannot thank you guys enough for joining. And hopefully you guys, like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Appreciate everyone who donated their time, contributed to the chat. Appreciate the super chats. Preseason football. Football is back, baby. Best time of the year. I would like to be able to do a live stream once a week. Now, I know a lot of people look forward to the weekly recaps on Sunday night. I may do like a live Sunday night after dark. We'll see this year, like after the Sunday night game is played, and then just have like an hour-long discussion like this. We'll see. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream, and hopefully you guys are safe this weekend. Hopefully you have a great weekend.